Stop everything you're doing right now because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely blow your mind. 6 days from now, Hillary Clinton sits down in front of Congress and testifies under oath about Jeffrey Epstein, but she is not going quietly. Hillary Clinton gave an interview to the BBC 3 days ago where she accused the Trump administration of running what she called a continuing cover-up of the Epstein files. She said Donald Trump and his Justice Department have something to hide. She said they are redacting the names of men in the documents. She said they are slow-walking the release of files and stonewalling legitimate requests from members of Congress. And then she said the reason House Republicans are forcing her to testify is to protect Trump. I have her exact quotes from that BBC interview. I have the timeline for next week's testimony. I have a battle over whether this should be public or private. I have what Bill and Hillary have already admitted in sworn statements. And I have what happens if Hillary drops the bombshells she is threatening to drop. This is not just another congressional hearing. This is Hillary Clinton going on offense against Donald Trump with the Epstein files as the weapon, and it happens in exactly 6 days. Comment right now if you think Hillary Clinton is about to expose Trump next week. Let me start with what Hillary Clinton said in that BBC interview, because she did not hold back. On February 17th, 3 days ago, Hillary sat down with the BBC. The interview was released on Tuesday, and within the first few minutes, Hillary accused the Trump administration of covering up the Epstein files. Here are her exact words. There's something about this administration's attitude toward this, which I think really leads us to conclude they have something to hide. She was asked to elaborate. She said, "We don't. We have been willing to say whatever we know. We've even done it under oath." Then she went further. She said, "We have nothing to hide. We have called for the full release of these files repeatedly. Get the files out. They are slow-walking it. They are redacting the names of men who are in it. They are stonewalling legitimate requests from members of Congress. That has nothing to do with us. Something is going on. They know it. I know it." Let me break down what Hillary just did. She is scheduled to testify in 6 days about what she and Bill Clinton knew about Jeffrey Epstein. Instead of defending herself, she flipped the entire narrative. She turned this into an attack on Trump. She accused his Justice Department of protecting powerful men whose names appear in the Epstein files. She accused them of redacting documents to hide those names. She accused them of refusing to cooperate with Congress. And she said the only reason Republicans are forcing her to testify is to distract from the people Trump is protecting. Hit subscribe and tap that bell because next week's testimony could be explosive. Now let me show you the timeline for next week because this is happening fast. Hillary Clinton is scheduled to be deposed on Wednesday, February 26th. That is 6 days from today. Bill Clinton is scheduled for Thursday, February 27th. That is 7 days from today. Both depositions will take place in Chappaqua, New York, where the Clintons live. NBC News confirmed that both depositions will be filmed and transcribed. And according to House Oversight Chairman James Comer, there is no time limit. That means if investigators want to question Hillary for 8 hours, they can. If they want to question Bill for 10 hours, they can. There is no clock. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed the Clintons back in August 2025. That was 6 months ago. The Clintons were originally supposed to testify in October. They skipped that date. They were rescheduled for December. They skipped that date too, claiming they had to attend a funeral. They were rescheduled for January. They skipped again. In late January, the House Oversight Committee voted to hold Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress. The vote was bipartisan. Democrats and Republicans on the committee both supported it. The full House was preparing to vote on the contempt resolutions in early February, and at the last possible minute, the Clintons agreed to testify. Drop a comment if you think the Clintons only agreed because they were about to be held in contempt. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Hillary Clinton does not want a private deposition. She wants a public hearing. In her BBC interview, she said, "We will show up, but we think it would be better to have it in public." Why does Hillary want this televised? Because she is a trained lawyer. She is a former United States Senator. She sat through 11 hours of public testimony during the Benghazi hearings in 2015 and came out looking composed and credible. Hillary knows how to perform in front of cameras. She knows how to turn a congressional hearing into a platform, and she believes that if the American people watch her testimony live, they will see that she has nothing to hide and that Republicans are playing politics. Chairman James Comer disagrees. Comer says depositions are standard procedure. He says closed-door depositions allow for detailed questioning without grandstanding. He says members of Congress use public hearings to make speeches and play to the cameras instead of actually investigating. Comer has said the depositions will be filmed and transcribed, and the full transcripts and videos will be released to the public eventually, but he wants the questioning to happen behind closed doors first. Comer did leave the door open for a public hearing later. He told reporters, if they get through the depositions and they still want a public hearing, we'll try to do something. But he made it clear, the depositions come first. Share this video if you think Hillary's testimony should be broadcast live on national television. Now let me show you what Hillary said about why she thinks Republicans are targeting her and Bill. In the BBC interview, Hillary was asked why she thinks the House Oversight Committee is forcing the Clintons to testify when other people who were subpoenaed were allowed to submit written statements instead. Hillary's answer was blunt. She said the committee is forcing her to appear to protect President Trump. Let me read her exact words again. "We have nothing to hide. We have called for the full release of these files repeatedly. Get the files out. They are slow-walking it. They are redacting the names of men who are in it. They are stonewalling legitimate requests from members of Congress. That has nothing to do with us. Something is going on. They know it. I know it." What is Hillary saying? She is saying that Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files. She is saying the Trump Justice Department is redacting names to protect Trump and other powerful men. She is saying House Republicans are going after the Clintons to create a distraction. And she is saying that if the full unredacted Epstein files were released, the public would see that Trump has far more to hide than the Clintons do. Now, is that true? Let me give you the facts. The United States Department of Justice released over 3 million pages of Epstein-related documents on January 30th, 2026. That is less than a month ago. It was the largest release of Epstein files in history. The documents include emails, flight logs, witness statements, financial records, and depositions. Multiple people connected to Donald Trump are named in those files. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick admitted earlier this month that he visited Jeffrey Epstein's private island in 2012 with his family. Trump's name appears in some documents. A phone call from 2006 was revealed where someone, possibly Trump, called the Palm Beach Police Department and said about Epstein, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." But it is also true that many names in the documents have been redacted. The Justice Department says the redactions are to protect victims and to avoid compromising ongoing investigations. Hillary Clinton clearly does not believe that. She believes the redactions are to protect powerful men. Comment right now if you think the Trump DOJ is hiding names in the Epstein files. Now let me show you what Bill and Hillary have already admitted, because they submitted sworn declarations in January before they agreed to testify. In those written statements, Hillary Clinton said she does not remember ever meeting Jeffrey Epstein. She said her knowledge of Epstein is very limited and totally unrelated to their behavior or their crimes. She was referring to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Bill Clinton said in his sworn statement that his relationship with Epstein was related to the Clinton Foundation's philanthropic work. He said Epstein offered the use of his private plane for Clinton Foundation trips in the early 2000s. Bill said he flew on Epstein's plane for work related to the foundation's global health and economic development initiatives. He said he cut ties with Epstein in 2006 when Epstein was accused of sex crimes. But here is the problem with that story. The Epstein files show Bill Clinton's name appearing in emails, flight logs, and witness testimony. Flight logs show Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's private plane, nicknamed the Lolita Express, multiple times. Photos released in the Epstein files show Bill Clinton at events where Epstein was present. Witnesses have said they saw Bill Clinton at Epstein's properties. And Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's co-conspirator who is now serving 20 years in federal prison, described Bill Clinton in her deposition as someone who flew on the plane a good number of times. So when Bill says his contact with Epstein was limited to a few charitable trips, the documentary evidence suggests otherwise. And that is what investigators will press him on next week. Hit subscribe because the full transcripts of next week's depositions will be released and you need to see them. Now let me show you the specific questions the Clintons are likely to face. For Hillary, investigators will ask, when did you first learn about Jeffrey Epstein? Have you ever met him? Did you ever speak to him? What did Bill tell you about his trips on Epstein's plane? What did Bill tell you about his visits to Epstein's properties? When did you first learn that Epstein was accused of sex crimes? Did you or Bill ever discuss Epstein's criminal behavior? Did the Clinton Foundation ever receive money from Epstein or anyone connected to him? For Bill, the questions will be more detailed. Investigators will ask, how many times did you fly on Epstein's plane? Where did those flights go? Who else was on those flights? Have you ever visited Epstein's private island? Have you ever visited Epstein's Manhattan townhouse? Have you ever visited Epstein's ranch in New Mexico? What did you and Epstein discuss during those trips? Did Epstein ever introduce you to young women? Did you ever witness Epstein engage in inappropriate behavior with young women? When did you first learn that Epstein was abusing minors? Why did you continue to associate with Epstein after his 2008 conviction? These are not easy questions, and if Bill or Hillary give answers that contradict the documentary evidence or the testimony of other witnesses, they could be accused of perjury. Drop a comment if you think Bill Clinton is going to get caught lying under oath. Now, let me show you what Hillary said about what she plans to say in the deposition because she gave a warning in her BBC interview. Hillary said, "They won't like what I have to say." She did not elaborate, but that statement suggests Hillary is planning to go beyond just answering questions about what she knew. It suggests she is planning to make accusations of her own. Is she going to name names? Is she going to accuse specific people in the Trump administration of covering up the Epstein files? Is she going to release information that she believes the Justice Department is hiding? We do not know, but that one sentence, "They won't like what I have to say," suggests Hillary is not walking into this deposition as a passive witness. She is walking in ready to fight. And here is why that matters. If Hillary uses her deposition to attack Trump, and if she names specific people she believes are being protected, that creates a whole new scandal. Suddenly, the story is not about what the Clintons knew about Epstein. The story becomes, what is the Trump administration hiding? Who are they protecting? Why are they redacting names? And if Hillary can make that case convincingly, she flips the entire narrative in her favor. Share this video if you think Hillary Clinton is about to go scorched earth on Trump. Now let me show you the political context because this is happening in an election year. The 2026 midterm elections are 9 months away. Donald Trump's approval rating is at 38%. That is 22 points underwater. Generic ballot polling shows Democrats leading Republicans by 6 points. Political analysts are predicting Democrats could gain 20 to 25 seats in the House. Trump is facing a potential wipeout, and the Epstein files are becoming a major political problem for him. Every time a new name is revealed, every time a new connection is exposed, it hurts Trump politically. Because even though Trump has not been accused of any crime related to Epstein, the association is damaging. Hillary Clinton knows this. She sees the polling. She sees Trump's approval collapsing. She sees Republicans vulnerable. And she is using the Epstein files as a weapon. By accusing the Trump administration of a cover-up, Hillary is putting Trump on defense. By demanding a public hearing, she is trying to create a media spectacle where she gets to present her case directly to voters. And by agreeing to testify while simultaneously attacking Trump, she is positioning herself and Bill as the transparent ones while painting Trump as the person with something to hide. Will that strategy work? It depends on what comes out in the depositions. If Hillary and Bill answer questions credibly and their story holds up, they come out looking clean. But if investigators catch them in inconsistencies, or if new evidence emerges that contradicts their sworn statements, this could blow up in their faces. Comment right now if you think the Clintons are making a huge mistake by testifying. Now let me show you what happens after the depositions. Chairman James Comer has said the full transcripts and videos will be released to the public, but he has not said when. It could be days after the depositions. It could be weeks. It could be months. And that timeline matters. If the transcripts are not released until after the midterm elections, the political impact is limited. But if they are released quickly, and if they contain bombshells, it could dominate the news cycle for weeks. There is also the question of whether other people will be called to testify based on what the Clintons say. If Bill or Hillary name specific individuals during their depositions, those individuals could be subpoenaed. If they reference specific documents, those documents could be requested. This investigation could expand significantly based on next week's testimony. And then there is the question of whether the Clintons will get their public hearing. Comer said he is open to it after the depositions are complete. If the Clintons push for it, and if Democrats on the committee support it, it could happen. And if it does happen, it will be televised live. It will be covered by every major news network. And it will become one of the biggest political events of 2026. Subscribe right now because you need to see those depositions the second they are released to the public. Now, here is the broader question. Why are we here? Why are the Clintons being forced to testify about Jeffrey Epstein more than 5 years after his death? The answer is because Congress passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act. That law requires the Justice Department to release all documents related to Epstein's crimes and his associates. The law passed with bipartisan support. Democrats and Republicans both wanted transparency. And now that the documents are being released, Congress is conducting oversight. That means calling witnesses. That means asking questions. That means holding people accountable. The Clintons have said for years that they have nothing to hide. Next week, they get to prove it. They will sit down, answer questions under oath, and allow their testimony to be recorded and released to the public. If they are telling the truth, they have nothing to worry about. But if they are hiding something, next week could be the beginning of a major scandal. 6 days. That is how long we have to wait. Hillary Clinton testifies on Wednesday, February 26th. Bill Clinton testified on Thursday, February 27th. Both depositions will be filmed. Both will be transcribed, and both will eventually be released to the public. Hillary has accused Trump of running a cover-up. She has demanded a public hearing, and she has promised that investigators won't like what she has to say. Next week, we will find out if she can back that up. Comment, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because next week, one of the most powerful political families in America goes under oath, and whatever comes out of those depositions will define the 2026 midterm elections.